All right, welcome back, everyone. We're ready for another deep dive, and today we're tackling a pretty tricky topic:
Yeah.
triangulation.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
We'll
yeah.
be looking at chapter 11, called Triangulation from I know this is a book about relationships that we've been talking about, so you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But you know, I think triangulation is something that everybody has come across at
Right.
some point or another in their lives, whether they've recognized it or not.
Yeah.
Um, and hopefully, this deep dive will help people identify it and, um, sort of avoid it.
Yeah, definitely. I think awareness is the first step to kind of, protecting yourself from these kinds of
For
dynamics.
sure. For sure.
Yeah.
So what is triangulation?
Okay, so triangulation, it's essentially a form of manipulation that involves three people.
Okay.
And one person, the what we call the triangulator, will intentionally try to create some kind of conflict or tension between the other two.
Okay. So it's not just like gossip between two
Mm.
people, it's like a
Yeah.
third party.
Exactly. It's like a calculated thing where they're trying to stir the pot.
Right. So they're benefiting from
Yeah.
the drama.
Yeah, they benefit from like
Yeah.
the kind of the chaos and the heightened
It's
emotion.
discord. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So can you give me like a specific example of like how this might look?
Okay, let's imagine a workplace scenario. You've got three colleagues. We'll call them Alex, Ben, and Charlie.
Okay.
Alex is our triangulator
Okay.
and wants to kind of undermine Ben's position in the company or on the team or whatever.
Got it.
So Alex might go to Charlie and just kind of casually mention, "Oh, I heard Ben expressing some concerns about your work on that project."
Oh, wow. Sneaky.
Yeah, and it's very subtle.
Yeah.
It's not like a blatant lie, but it's just planting that seed of doubt.
Yeah.
And then Alex will go to Ben and say, "Oh, Charlie was just saying that, she's not really sure about your
Oh,
ideas,"
oh my God.
and kind of fueling that resentment on both
So
sides.
they're creating like a wall between the two people.
Yes, and they're kind of like the puppet master
Oh,
behind the scenes.
so what happens then? Like, do Ben and Charlie not just
Well,
eventually talk
well,
and
that's the thing is like the triangulator often positions themselves as like the mediator.
ooh,
So like they'll come in and be like, "Oh, I know Ben's being a little difficult, but he means well."
mhm.
Or they'll say to Ben, "Charlie's just really stressed right now. Don't take it personally."
Oh, so they're playing both sides.
Exactly.
Yeah,
They're like,
but
the
it's
the person that everyone can come to vent.
got it, got it.
But they're also kind of perpetuating the problem.
So the triangulator's really like getting
Yes.
off on this drama.
Oh yeah. They're getting something out of it for sure.
Yeah, yeah,
It might be just like a sense of power or control,
right.
or maybe they're trying to get ahead at work,
Or maybe they just like attention.
or maybe they just want to see the world burn, you know?
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, so what about the people that are actually being triangulated? Like, what's the
Oh,
impact
they're
on
the
them? Yeah.
ones that are suffering. They're the ones that are experiencing increased stress and anxiety,
Oh,
confusion. The constant kind of undermining and manipulation can lead to self-doubt,
right.
questioning their own perceptions and their own judgment.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you're being fed all this negative information
Yeah.
about somebody, and it's like,
Yeah, and it's hard to know what to trust,
yeah,
especially if it's coming from someone that you thought was a friend or a colleague.
right, right. And so, how can someone recognize that they're actually being triangulated?
That's a great question because like you said, it's very subtle.
Yeah,
It's not always blatant lies.
right,
It's often like twisting the truth a little bit or omitting key details
right.
or framing information in a way that's beneficial to the triangulator.
So, what are some red flags that people can?
Okay, so one red flag is if there's someone who's consistently relaying negative information about others.
Okay,
Like if you notice that there's someone who's always coming to you and saying, "Oh, so and so said this about you or did this,"
right,
that's a huge red flag.
yeah,
Another red flag is if you find yourself questioning your relationships,
Right.
or feeling like you're walking on eggshells around a specific person.
Okay, yeah.
Because that can be a sign that you're kind of being manipulated into seeing things through their lens.
Right, and kind of being afraid to,
Yes.
speak up or be
Exactly.
yourself or
Yeah, and that's what the triangulator wants. They want to
yeah.
create that kind of atmosphere of fear and uncertainty.
Right, right.
And then the last red flag I would say is if there's someone who's consistently positioning themselves as the mediator in conflicts,
Mm.
like if they're always the one who's trying to come in and smooth things over,
Oh.
that's a sign that they might be actually orchestrating the conflict in the first place.
Ooh, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
So it's about kind of looking at those patterns
Right.
and noticing who's always at the center of the drama.
Okay, so once you figure out that you're being triangulated, what can you do?
Okay, well, the first step is acknowledging it,
Right.
which you're already doing by listening to this deep dive.
Hopefully.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's great.
Right.
The next step is to start setting boundaries.
Okay.
So don't engage in the gossip or the negativity.
So if someone comes to you and says, "Oh, so and so said this about you."
Exactly.
Yeah.
You say,
Yeah.
I don't really want to get involved in that,
Right.
or if they try to draw you into a conflict, you can say, you know, I think you should talk to so-and-so directly about that.
Right. Just like disengage from the
Disengage
Okay.
and focus on building direct, open communication with the other person who's involved.
Right. So go straight to the source.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes just naming the triangulation tactic can be really powerful.
Really? Yeah. Like if you say to someone, I feel like you're trying to triangulate me here,
Yeah.
that can really disrupt the dynamic
Yeah.
because it brings it out into the open.
Right, right.
And it makes it harder for them to continue the manipulation.
Wow, that's a good tip.
Yeah.
So communication is key, but boundaries are key.
Boundaries are crucial.
Yeah, yeah.
And sometimes it might be necessary to limit contact with the triangulator.
Okay.
Especially if the triangulation is causing you significant emotional distress
Right.
or damage to your other relationships.
Okay.
It's not about blaming the triangulator, it's about protecting your own well-being.
Right. It's not like you're trying to get back at him or anything. You're just trying.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
about self-preservation.
Yeah, yeah.
You have to prioritize your own mental and emotional health.
Okay. So you've given us some really good strategies
Yeah.
for dealing with this.
I hope so.
So just to wrap things up for our listeners, as you guys go forward, think about, how can you use this knowledge of triangulation
Yeah.
to set those healthy boundaries that we
Right.
talked about
Yeah.
and, foster those genuine connections
Absolutely.
because triangulation really does
Right.
mess everything up.
Yeah, it creates a lot of distrust.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
think about that. And thank you guys so much for joining us on this deep dive. And until next time, stay curious.
Bye, everyone.
See ya.